All right, y'all. We are live. We're going to just jump straight into this scene. We are at a PDS tornado warning right now out here in Wisconsin. Let me just get at least one thing fixed. I'll fix the rest of it in just a moment. So we've got a strong tornado ongoing. We have a PDS tornado warning that is in effect out here in southern Wisconsin. We're going to use the probably Milwaukee radar site. I imagine that's going to be the best one to use here. So we've had this strong tornado on the ground for a while. I've been watching it from my phone, and I really wasn't able to live stream until 2:30. So I decided to just go ahead and start up a live stream since this is a PDS tornado warning. So this was just upgraded to a PDS tornado warning just moments ago. And it doesn't look like it's as strong as what it once was, but it is a PDS warning, so it's justified for an urgent live stream here. And make sure you're in your safe spot because this is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado that is ongoing in southwestern Wisconsin. We've had a couple other tornadoes today already as well. This has been, actually, I think this has been our only tornado of the day, and it's just been on the ground for quite a long time here. So it's still a PDS tornado warning on the ground for Rena. That's where it is in southern Wisconsin, so make sure you're in your safe spot. This is an observed large and extremely dangerous tornado that is ongoing. But I do think that it is likely starting to weaken now at this point. I don't think it is as strong as what it once was. So hopefully it is weakening and beginning to lift at this point. It was strongest probably when it first touched down. I'll go back to some radar scans here since I wasn't able to live stream it for you guys. So it first touched down right here, quite intense, lofting debris about 7,000 feet up, continued to the northeast, just north of Ridgeway in southern Wisconsin, began to weaken a little bit on correlation coefficient, and then that is when they went PDS for this scan here, which is when we had a bit of an increase in velocities, classic hook echo, and a debris signature there. At that point, lofting debris about 9,000 feet up. And this has stayed a tree ripper the entire time. There is really nothing more than just trees out here. There's the occasional house, but really it is nothing more than just a tree ripper, which is another reason why I really wasn't going to go live for it unless it went PDS, and obviously it just did go PDS. So I do believe that this is weakening, likely lifting at this point. Probably not as strong as when it first touchdown. When it first touched down is likely when it was at its peak intensity, and it's going to begin to move off even further to the northeast, and we're just going to have to keep an eye on these semi-discrete storms, especially the one in the middle of your screen and the one to the southern end of your screen there, the bottom. These two have gotten very semi-discrete. This one is semi-discrete, and this one is semi-discrete. So both of these are going to end up being very big issues for the next couple of hours. And this event kicked off very early. I sincerely apologize all that I wasn't able to live stream the first tornado warning. I was spending time with family, and I didn't want to end that family time unless it was a strong tornado. So they are continuing that PDS tornado warning. We've got video of this tornado being likely a small stovepipe, probably nothing too insanely large. At least this was 20 minutes ago, so when it first touched down, looked like it was probably a rope to a stovepipe. Ever since then, I haven't gotten video of it, but there's quite a few chasers on this. No very well-known chasers. These chasers are actually very local chasers out here. So we pointed this threat out yesterday. I talked about it, posing the threat for a few tornadoes, maybe even a strong tornado. And this is that strong tornado threat verifying. Now this is getting into a populated area, okay? Now this is beginning to leave that wooded area. It's beginning to leave becoming a tree ripper, and it's starting to move towards a more populated area to where it could impact homes, buildings, outbuildings, This is just south of Arena. Arena is decently populated. It's very close to Grandma Mary's Cafe, which is right along the Highway 14 intersection between Highway 14 and Village Edge Road, which is just barely to the west of Meadow Street out here in Arena. So that's where this strong tornado is going to be very close to Grandma Mary's Cafe out here in southern Wisconsin in Arena. It's then going to move to the northeast towards Black Earth, Townberry, and then eventually towards the end of its lifespan, if it's still on the ground, it will be to the northwest of Springfield, town of Springfield out here. So we're going to continue to watch this as it moves off to the northeast. It is definitely a storm that is probably still producing a tornado. It is still a very classic supercell here. The velocity signatures are not very impressive. Same goes for the CC, but I think that actually that might be. It's hard to say where your tornado debris signature is, but that could be what's left of it generally in that area there. It's really difficult to say how strong this may be. And then this southern one also likely trying its best to produce a tornado. I wouldn't be shocked if they extend that tornado warning. I think they just did, actually. Let me go check here. Yes, they just extended this. So tornado warning now in effect for Belleville, New Glarus, Dayton, Brooklyn, Evansville, Albany, Town of Oregon, Oak Hall. Out here in south central Wisconsin. So this is another storm that is likely capable of producing a strong tornado. It is not actively producing a tornado, but remember, a radar indicated tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So our main PDS tornado warning is back up here. This is our only PDS tornado warning right now. That other one was just allowed to expire. So no longer, this very rural area. I don't think there was too many people in this PDS warning. I think there was like there was about 1,000 people, and pretty much all of that population was on the northern side of this tornado warning. And this new tornado warning that is a PDS warning is for 17,550. So that is a significantly higher amount of population here where this strong tornado is heading towards. So we're going to continue to watch this as it moves off to the northeast. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we've got a large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground in southern Wisconsin, moving up to the northeast. It's currently just south of Arena, and it is moving to the northeast. It will stay north of Black Earth, likely northwest of Martinsville in southern Wisconsin, and then eventually this is going to be heading up towards Lake Wisconsin here in about an hour or so. The far northern storm that is actively tornado warned here for the next 13 minutes likely is not very tornadic anymore. The main concern is that PDS purple warning you see there, as well as these two tornado warnings to the south. Both of these warnings are for this cell, currently to the southwest of Dayton, moving northeast towards Brooklyn and Evansville in southern Wisconsin, and that could drop a strong tornado. So just be in your safe spot. Once again, if you're in any of these tornado warnings, it looks like, I want to say the PDS one probably is lifted at this point. I'd be pretty surprised if it's still ongoing. I think its peak intensity was just north of Dodgeville when it first touched down, because you can see, watch the debris signature. It goes from nothing to a very deep CC drop, 7,000 feet in the atmosphere. So I believe when it first dropped down, which could have been near some population, there was a few homes in this area that could have been hit. Probably was when it was at its strongest peak intensity there. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on it, but I'm going to fix up the live stream because I ran back to my computer and it just hit the live button, like the title and everything, description, the date, all that stuff is all wrong. So bear with me whilst I fix that up. I bet the thumbnail, what's the thumbnail? I bet the thumbnail is something either a completely wrong thumbnail or it is my YouTube banner, one or the other. But there's the correct date, correct threat level. And then when we switch to all our other scenes, I'll have to fix all of those up too. All right, let me go here. All right. Thank you for tuning in, Rebel, Sparkle, Caleb. I appreciate all you guys being in here. Sam, welcome to the stream. Johnny, Jason, Indiana, Stormed. Glad to see you all in the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I wish I could have been live earlier, but I was just, any time before like 2 o'clock, if it's not like a moderate or a high risk, normally I'm not going to be canceling plans. But uh, then, we got that PDS warning. I was like, okay, that's enough for me to come over here and start up a stream. All right, I'm gonna change all this too. I'm gonna change the title. Still 3 tornado warnings. The only one on the ground at the moment is the PDS one, but I think that one it has likely begun to lift, if not weaken. All right, let's see. What are we even gonna put here? Tornadoes likely today. Got to do the whole title. Got to do everything. There we go. All right, so we're going to continue to watch also this southern storm. So again, both of these two, the one you see in that purple highlighted box, that's the main storm right now. That's the PDS tornado warning. Northern tornado warning, if you're southwest of Loganville, still be in your safe spot, but just know that that is a lot weaker. And then the far southern storm in far southern Wisconsin, that is also a concern for a potential tornado to develop here in the short term. So we're going to be monitoring mainly that one in the purple box and the 2 red boxes on the southern end of your screen, the bottom of your screen. Again, sorry, I'm trying to fix the title and description and everything. Okay. At least that's better than what it was. At least now it's a little bit better organized. It's not just my banner. I'll have to fix my thumbnail in a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna have to quickly black out y'all's screen. Yep, popped up right in front of you. I'm glad I did that. I'm really glad I did that. Because I only had enough time to get open GR2 and that was it. So I gotta pull up everything. Hello, Catman. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. Again, sorry I was late. I didn't want to just leave my family hanging until we got a strong tornado. So at least I got to spend 30 minutes with them until I had to go live. Let me go over to, which one is it? This one. Very busy morning. I've had a very busy morning. This event wasn't supposed to kick off till 4 o'clock, and the MCV just decided to be way faster than anticipated. Like, way faster than anticipated. Alright, that southern one, the velocities look substantially weaker. Really not much there. But that could increase over the next couple minutes. Also, I highly recommend, if you guys haven't already, to go follow me on Twitter. Same @handle as here on YouTube, because yesterday, I put my Outlook out yesterday night, before NATO casted their Outlook. And this is the exact area I highlighted. I highlighted this exact region for the best tornado risks, so if I'm not live, or if I just want to do a quick update, Twitter's going to be where I end up posting it. That's going to be If there's a strong tornado on the ground, I'm not able to stream it. I'm going to be posting on there. If there's any update I want to give briefly, it's all going to be up on there. I'm not surprised we had a strong tornado today at all. I knew it was a very real possibility. Although I thought it was going to be a lot later. I gotta say, it is not playing out how I thought it would. Because I thought it would be a lot later. We've only had one tornado today. It's been this one. And, well, would you look at that? Now we know why it formed a tornado. Man, the cell mergers. That's all it takes is a cell merger. So, you had a mesocyclone form here west of Dodgeville in Wisconsin. You had a mesocyclone on a cell merger over Mineral Point. Those two merged, and kind of like a movie, when those two mergers occurred, two mesocyclones came together, formed a bigger mesocyclone, and then that dropped a strong tornado. Literally something out of a movie. It looks like they're on radar. Because you had two... Hold on, we might have just lost the PDS. I want to go see that real quick. Okay, we lost our northern tornado warning. So no longer tornado warning in effect up here near Loganville. So these are our only tornado warnings, these three. Looks like our PDS one could be intensifying slightly here. So we could still get a tornado out of this very, very quickly. If there's not a strong tornado on the ground, it easily could develop again. Let me see. I'm going to wait for this, well, this expires in 35 minutes, so that's quite a while. Let's go to, we're going to go over to the SPC Outlook here. So this is what we are dealing with today. I got to get WeatherWise up over here because WeatherWise is, best software outside of GR2. So SPC Outlook today, we got a slight risk over Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan. They did upgrade to a large 5% tornado risk across Illinois, southern Wisconsin. They also went ahead and upgraded the wind risk to a larger 15% wind risk, and they upgraded the hail risk. If we go over, did they downgrade? Oh, nope, there it is. They upgraded the hail risk to a 5% as well. So they upgraded all of our probabilities for today. It was a depression, Rebel. It made landfall in Florida as a depression. It was a tropical depression. The NHC just decided not to do it. The pressure was down to 1,010 millibar. There was some observed wind speeds that definitely hit the criteria of a depression. It was well enough organized for a depression. You could see the LLC with convection on the southwest side. It was a depression as it hit Florida. The NHC just completely missed it. They didn't designate it. The European model run literally says it's a depression right now. It has a 100% chance of being a depression at this moment. And it's still designated as a 40% on the NHC. I still think it is actively a tropical... It may still be a tropical depression. It's moved more inland, so I think the Euro model now is probably wrong. But there should be a new area of circulation that develops into the Gulf either tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. And if that happens, that's going to increase our rainfall totals. It doesn't look like a depression anymore to me. I take that back. It's not a tropical depression anymore. But when it was over Florida yesterday, it was. It had characteristics of a tropical depression. A tropical depression doesn't have to be completely vertically stacked. I'm not saying it was a tropical storm or a hurricane. I mean, but it had the exact characteristics of a tropical depression. It definitely did. And it started to lose those. Once it went over Tallahassee earlier this morning, that's when it started to really lose those characteristics. Very early this morning, when it was around Tallahassee, that's when it started to lose all those characteristics. And then it went into Georgia. I think kind of we have like a remnant tropical low in southern Alabama, the western panhandle of Florida right now. So I don't think it's going to be a tropical storm anymore. I mean, I never thought it would be. I knew there was a chance, but it's definitely not going to be now. I wouldn't rule out it trying to get to a tropical depression, even though, in my opinion, it already was, and a lot of other people agree strongly on that. I think there's another chance that we get another low to form off the coast of like Louisiana tomorrow. And if that happens, I think it could reorganize into a depression again. Late tomorrow night. Wait. No, early tomorrow morning. I forgot today's Wednesday now. Early tomorrow morning as it moves inland. We still do have a PDS tornado warning. I think this is beginning to intensify a bit more here. I don't personally believe it's still on the ground. It is still an observed PDS tornado warning, but I don't think it's been on the ground for a little while here. It is likely trying to drop another tornado, though. There is a video of the PDS tornado. Probably just after it touched down. I know right when it touched down, it was definitely a rope to a stovepipe. We had a video of that. But now somebody has, let me see. Somebody had a video of it. I don't... Okay, observed. Okay, I could see why they continued and observed. Personally, I don't think it's on the ground, but... No longer at PDS. So I think this was about, like 25 minutes ago. When would that be on radar? 25 minutes ago from 2:14. So that would be like right in here. Yeah, so that would be like right in here. We have a video of a wedge tornado to the northwest of Ridgeway. A strong wedge tornado. So it started as a rope and slash stovepipe like most tornadoes do, and then turned into a wedge, and probably, I'd imagine nobody has a visual of it lifting because it was completely over the mountains at that point, over a lot of trees. All right, we're going to switch over to a confirmed warning, but there's probably nothing's wrong with the scene. I'm shocked. Hello, Marcus Gaming. JD, glad to see you guys all in here. Looks like both of these are weakening too. Our peak tornado threat is going to be a lot shorter than anticipated because this was so fast. Our peak activity is probably this. Now till like 5. Because this stuff formed 3 hours early. So really our peak activity should be done about 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern. Alright, now that we are no longer at PDS, I'm going to get the thumbnail done, so that way it's not the banner. Definitely not tornado outbreak likely. Let's change that. I'm going to go with tornadoes likely because it's a 5%. So for a 5% tornado risk, normally I do 2% is tornado possible or severe weather, one or the other. 5% is tornadoes likely, and then a 10% 10 sig is tornado outbreak possible. If it looks really good, I'll do tornado outbreak likely. And then 15 sig plus is always tornado outbreak likely. Tornadoes likely. There we go. And I'm only going to do the risk in Wisconsin. We have a secondary slight back out there in Colorado, but that's not the area we are going to be focusing at for tornado potential today. So therefore, I'm not going to include that area in my thumbnail. Because we have a chance for a tornado back out in Colorado, Wyoming, but nowhere near the chance that we have out here in Wisconsin and Illinois and Michigan. So bear with me just a couple of seconds whilst I do this thumbnail. It won't take very long. depending on if I can draw correctly. So we're going to continue with breaking coverage as opposed to urgent. You know, sometimes most of the time after the PDS warning's lifted, I'm just going to end, but this is the beginning of what will probably still be a couple more tornadoes to form. So we're gonna keep streaming for a while longer today. I'm not just gonna end right off the bat, because this isn't like the end of the event. This is probably just the start of it. But it's really today is gonna come down to if we can get discrete storms to really get going. We had one main discrete storm get going. That's the one that produced our PDS tornado. And if we get another discrete storm to get going, the one on the south is one I was worried about, but it looks like that's getting a bit more clustered now. We could definitely see a couple more tornadoes. So we're going to have to pay attention for any discrete storms that try to really ramp up, mainly across Wisconsin, maybe into northern Illinois, but the main area is definitely going to be in Wisconsin for today. Man, that's a huge marginal. Covers all of Pennsylvania, dude. That is a ginormous marginal risk. Yikes. Huge marginal. We just got another update to our tornado warning. They are keeping it at observed. I think that's the one that just updated, right? What just updated? Okay, that's at observed still. The southern one is at radar indicated. So they're both still the same. Still the same tag. All right, almost done. Just got to do the slight risk and then we are good to go. My plan originally today was to go live at 3:30, but that definitely didn't happen. Like I said, all these storms decide to pop off literally 3 hours early. Alright. Now you guys don't have a blank thumbnail to look at. Not like you're looking at it anyways. I mean, when you click on the stream, it doesn't show after that. Perfect. We are good to go. Alright, so still gonna keep an eye on this observed warning. But I don't think really nothing is a concern right now. I'm not concerned about any of this. Alright, we are back to still observed warning. Just want to make sure. Sometimes I forget to change my my scenes. Wisconsin doesn't usually get strong tornadoes and PDSs either. I don't know, Kenny. I swear we've gotten a bunch of PDS warnings in like southern Wisconsin recently. I remember like 3 or 4 different outbreaks, and 2 of those were from MCVs in southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois in like the last 2-3 years. But it's not common, but I think we see a handful every year. You know, I think Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin especially, gets a couple of PDS tornado warnings a year. In summer, okay, now I could see your point with that. In July, yeah. I don't know how common it is in July. Most of the ones I remember are from May. All right, let me go to, you said what the VROT is. What was the VROT? So probably, we're going to have to try to get an accurate scan here. And that's like nearly impossible. Our radar is just not that good. So we're going to go off of, gracious. I don't even think I can't get a good scan on it. We're going to have to estimate our VROT. We're going to have to go with this pixel to pixel here mixed with I don't, this is not accurate because we're not close enough. I would say, let's see. The max I can find is like 90 mph gate to gate. So if we do the conversion of that, 90 mph to knots, that's 78. 78 divided by 2. And that's going to be 39. So I'd say probably around a 40 knot VROT. I think that's reasonable. And I believe 45 is the VROT requirement for PDS. I saved it somewhere in here. Where is this? Did I really not save it? All right. Oh, it's 40 knots. So, yeah, it hit criteria. I think it did hit criteria because, like, 30, 39, 40 knots, that's like, is an estimate, right? It probably was higher based on visuals on the ground and likely any other scan after that. We had some scans that were higher than a 39, 40 knot VROT. So, all right, I'm going to screenshot this so that way I can save it. I was for sure I saved it, but I guess not. So, let me save it again. There we go. Yeah, Northeastern Ohio could have an MCS next week. Yes. I don't know if you said Kenny, but I'll answer too. Yeah, Northeast Ohio, you want to keep an eye out for an MCS potential next week. But the range of possibilities on where it could impact is very large. Like we're watching this entire area, right? From southern Canada, Saskatchewan through southwest Quebec, all the way down to eastern Montana, central South Dakota, all the way through much of the Midwestern US and Great Lakes. Whoa. That's back on the ground. We'll just double check with, yep, spectrum width is there. That is a tornado back on the ground. Formed out of seemingly nowhere right there. Look at that. No, no, that's on the ground. No, that's not really that iffy. Now, the next scan, that looks like corruption, but I'm sure the velocities will move a little bit more to the north there. But this scan is definitely a tornado. 50 VROT. But there's no shot. No, that's not. Kenny, are you doing your conversions wrong? That's about 74 knots and divide it by 2. That's 37. How are you doing your conversion there? Let's see the next scan. Yep. Seems legit that it just disappears on the next scan. You still have some CC there, so yeah, I do believe that was a tornado. We just had an update there. Where was that? Where was that? Something updated. I didn't catch it. Is there something I'm not seeing here? I have to go to the NWS real quick. Let's see what updated. Okay, it was the observed warning is still continued as observed. Got ya. So they still are continuing this as of 20 seconds ago. It is still an observed warning, and I think that's a new tornado on the ground. There's another another new tornado warning observed for the next hour. So, yep. Confirmed tornado right over this area. So that is a debris signature, and the NWS agrees. So another tornado on the ground. Make sure you're in your safe spot, Lake Wisconsin. It's still a little far from you. You still have a good 30, about 20-ish, maybe pushing 30 minutes before the main area of interest gets to you. So, make sure you heed that tornado warning. That's plenty of time to seek shelter. You've got a full 20 to 30 minutes to seek shelter. So, go ahead and heed that observed tornado warning. There is a tornado on the ground to your south, to your southwest. It's just to the west. Let me see if I can get... I don't know how to pronounce this area. It's just to the northwest of Aiden's Corner. So it's very far to your southwest. I'll give you a mileage. So in Lake, Wisconsin, it's about 10.25 miles to your southwest. And it's likely lifted again for possibly the second or third time. This thing's either dropped 2 or 3 tornadoes, because if we go back here, it definitely dropped one here, northwest of Ridgeway. And then it could have dropped a second one for the PDS tornado warning southwest of Arena. And then this could be the third one that it's dropped here, just to the northwest of Martinsville, Wisconsin. We've at least, minimum, had 2 tornadoes out of this. At least. Let me go all the way back here. So yeah, this frame is when we got that video of a wedge tornado. It was between this frame and this frame. So that was when it was just to the northwest of Ridgeway. At this point, almost an hour ago. We've only had one storm be an issue today. That's it. Every other storm's been tornado warned. It's just not produced tornadoes. So all the other 3 tornado warnings we've had today outside of this storm, none of them have produced tornadoes. Yeah, because we had 1 up there, 2 down here, and it's literally only been this one discrete storm that has continued to recycle and produce tornadoes. We did get a new mesoanalysis. I do want to take a look at that because I want to see the environment in front of these storms to see what's happening more of actually behind it too. Yeah, so also these storms near Dodgeville, these are very close to the MCV as well. So those will also have an opportunity to produce tornadoes in the future as well. The only thing that's really held today from going crazy is the lower level wind shear is not the best. If we had more lower level wind shear, a lot of these storms would have been likely producing tornadoes. But at this point, we've only had one storm. And I don't really know exactly why it was that one cell. My best guess is just simply because of the cell merger and it stayed discrete. Let's go back to here. So if you're just tuning in, I also haven't gone over this just yet, but we do have a tornado watch that is in place across Wisconsin in the purple area. So if you're in that region, make sure you're hyper weather aware. Tornado watch means conditions are favorable for the development of severe storms, including the potential for a few tornadoes. This includes all the way from La Crosse, Wisconsin to Milwaukee, back up to Green Bay, all the way out to just 1 county east of Platteville. And out here in Illinois, they have gone with a severe thunderstorm watch due to the more elevated nature of these thunderstorms. So Chicago, Rockford, Evanston, back towards Princeton and Freeport in northern Illinois under a severe watch. Single county, actually two counties, it's two counties in far northwestern Indiana. That includes Murrayville back towards just barely west of Michigan City and northwest Indiana under that severe thunderstorm watch. So main tornado threat today will definitely be focused in this corridor here. That is very, very obvious on where our main tornado potential will be today. There is going to still be a chance for tornadoes further north, though. If we take a look at the outlook today, that slight risk goes all the way up into Green Bay for tornadoes, and even the 5% goes outside the tornado watch area. So there's definitely a chance for a few tornadoes further north of the pink area I've highlighted, but the main risk will be in that pink area. Also note we could have multiple rounds, so you're not clear from the potential of severe weather until after the main MCV round passes, which is right in here. That's why our tornado watch still remains in effect for areas just in front of that region, because there's the potential for more thunderstorms to become tornadic. This first round, though, should be the main round because it's taking up much of the environment. Skeptical on CC. Yeah, the last three scans likely have been fallout, but that first scan right here, this was a tornado. The scans following was likely fallout debris. It could have been on the ground for the second scan, but mainly this first scan, 1823Z. That's when it was on the ground. And then maybe 1825Z, and then after that, definitely all fallout. Still nothing from these southern storms in terms of rotation, which is awesome. Let's keep it that way. We've only had 2 tornado warnings for these cells further south. When that first tornado warning was issued for this southern storm, it looked pretty rough. It definitely looked pretty rough when that first warning was issued. And then since then, it's taken on some cell mergers, and it's not since recovered. But we will have to watch for it to try to recover here in the future as it gets towards Rockdale, Deerfield, Cambridge, and then eventually Jefferson and Lake Mills here in about an hour or so. As it moves up to the northeast, it could try to reorganize thanks to those cell mergers. But at the moment, I don't see anything concerning in terms of rotation. Just if you're in either one of these tornado warnings, make sure you're in your safe spot and you will be good to go. Just be in your safe spot and you'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and open... Actually, we'll just go to weatherwise. I was going to open another GR2. So these storms are weird how velocity is... What is that? 3 hours behind, so we won't be using velocity on this radar today. But reflectivity at least works. So these storms mainly are going to be 60-mile-an-hour winds and up to 1-inch hail. As they move off to the east-northeast. So that's going to be heading into the Chicago suburbs here. Probably a good 2 hours from now. I'd say close to about 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central is when this will move towards the Chicago suburbs. And then it should be in Chicago or very close to downtown Chicago around 5 o'clock Eastern. I'd say 2 to 2.5 hours. Depending on how fast this moves, it's hard to judge how fast it moves because of the MCV. This event, the whole event itself popped off a ridiculous 3 hours early. That is very, very substantial in terms of timing. 3 hour difference could be the difference between a full-fledged tornado outbreak and the difference between a tornado or two. And I think that's what we have here. I think we got a bit lucky, even though we did get one strong tornado, hopefully just hit trees. And we did have that one weak tornado. I didn't see, was that was probably over a bit more populated area. Oh, well, maybe. It looks like that was probably just over a road, and then hopefully it lifted before it got into the more populated region. So it touched down over those trees, and that's why it had such a deep CC drop. And then 2 frames when it would have been over houses, that's when I think it likely lifted. You could see just for literally 1 frame that velocity couplet was gate to gate, about probably just under 40 knot VROT there, which 40 plus VROT is considered strong, so that's why I didn't call it a strong tornado. And then it moves up to the northeast, and it's completely gone in a scan or two right after that. So we'll see. May allow for the second round to be more surface-based if the environment had some time to recover. The environment's pretty good. The only thing I'd be worried about is kind of like a cool pool. In front of the storms, there is instability of about 3,500. Behind the storms, the instability is about 2,500. So this first round is taking up about 1,000 instability. And it's not really leaving much of a cool pool. At least right now. All right. Looks like they're going to let this southern tornado warning completely expire in 5 minutes. So just Brooklyn, Evansville, Dayton, stay in your safe spot for a little bit longer, about 5 minutes, and then you are good to come out of your safe spot. I don't know about the lightning activity on this storm, but I would recommend at least staying indoors for a little longer. It looks like much of the lightning activity is lopsided to the north, so you're probably good to come out of your safe spot here in 5 minutes, and then really, especially if you're in Dayton, you're good to go outside too. Because really, mainly all the lightning is up here. But if you do hear any thunder, go indoors, because if you hear thunder, that means you're close enough to be struck by lightning. So make sure you're just going out with caution. Go outside carefully. I hate thunder and lightning. Lightning is what I hate the most, though. I've said that so many times. I fear lightning over anything. More than tornadoes, hurricanes, hail, flooding. It's the lightning I fear the most. Yeah, our environment doesn't really get much better, so this is the environment we're stuck with here. Like, it's really not going to improve too much. The senior deputy meteorologist at the National Weather Service just released an administrative message saying a level 3 radar outage is ongoing. We are aware of the issues, and we are investigating it with the missing level 3 radar data. More information to come. So there is a lack of level 3 radar data. That is as of 1759Z. The senior deputy meteorologist at the NWS put out a public, what is it? Like a public weather statement or something like that. I forgot exactly what it's called. It's like a public statement. I forgot what it's called. I don't read them too often. Yes, they have to investigate the issue because they got to figure out how to get it back on. So that could be affecting some velocities on some of these radar sites. It looks like velocity is having some issues with a handful of radar sites, but they specifically mentioned level 3 data, so that's going to affect big time GR level 3. We're using level 2 data. Level 2 data is higher resolution. Level 3 data is less resolution. Level 3 data is what GR3 uses. GR level 3 uses. And some radar sites use that softwares. But a lot of the data we use is level 2. Much of the data we use is level 2. But it seems like that's also somehow, whatever the issue may be, it's also affecting some velocities Like up here for the Milwaukee radar, velocity's fine. Chicago, velocity's down. Davenport, velocity's down. Springfield, velocity's down. St. Louis, velocity's down. Paducah, velocity's down. And then, while a lot of these are down, mine, I believe, is also down. Yeah. Only a few of these have working velocity. Okay, that La Crosse has velocity. I'm starting to think this might just be more of a weatherwise issue because that's not the case with this software over here. Let me see Radar Omega. If it works with this, it's a weatherwise issue. Okay, it is. As Caleb just said too. So, weatherwise having an issue with velocity. That outage could be affecting them. You never know. But the main outage is with level 3 data, so. But I saw someone say, is this the main event? Yeah, this is. There was some questions on if it would be the main event. We just really had to wait to see the evolution of these storms, and I can confidently say yes. This is the main event. There is a chance still for some isolated severe weather and the isolated weak tornado with these showers and thunderstorms behind the main event. But, the main event is what it sounds like, the main event. This is your main chance for 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a couple tornadoes. Which, again, is 3 hours early. Very, very early. So, yeah, level 3 data is having an issue. So, I don't really know. GR level 3 is really the only thing I think's going to be affected by that. And there could be, like, barely some issues that somehow correlate with that level 3 outage with velocity on weatherwise. Because it happened at almost the same time. Like, the Chicago radar went down at... Let's see, what was it? It was about an hour ago for velocity for some of these sites. I don't know. I don't know. It might just be a weather-wise issue and nothing to even do with the level 3 outage at all. I'm not a professional when it comes to how the radars exactly work. I just read them. I don't know how they're built or anything like that. That would be a good idea to learn, though. I could never maintain a radar site. I don't know how those things work at all. Yeah, I mean, I know how the reflectivity products work and how we get our signals from them and how it scans, but... Yeah. Props to the NWS for maintaining the radar sites, because that's another huge thing, is trying to maintain all the radar sites. I mean, look at them all. Trying to maintain all these radars, that is not easy. That is not easy at all. We're slowly starting to get some new radars, too, that NSSL is working on. That will hopefully replace our current radars. But right now, these radars, I mean, we're probably going to have them for multiple more years. But when were they installed? Like I want to say like the 80s, 90s? They've been testing out a new type of radar since like 2014 or so. PDS cell just died. Yeah. Yep. There ain't nothing left of that. So we're down to 1 tornado warning. It's still observed. 80s, yeah. I knew it was either the 80s or the 90s. I couldn't remember. Iowa County and Wisconsin going to be in a pickle at all or no? Let's see. Iowa County, Wisconsin. You got to be close to the Iowa border, right? All right, let's see. Okay, so you were very dude. There was so Razor, you were like 5-10 minutes from that tornado then, depending on exactly where you live in this county. If you live in downtown Dodgeville there, you were like 10 minutes from it. But nah, I think you're good. I think you're good. These storms are moving through. They're all really just heavy rain at the moment. And they could try to rotate later down the line, but considering they're over you right now, I think you're pretty much good. Just some heavy rain, that's it. Yeah, we did have the dual pole upgrade in 2013, 2014, but they've started to test like different radar altogether. Completely different radar altogether that does like 1 minute scans, and it's even higher resolution than these radar sites that we have currently. 6 miles north? Dude. You got close, buddy. 6 miles north, man. That's a close call, dude. Very, very close call. I don't, yeah. No tornado warnings. Let me get rid of this. All right, you're going to have to bear with me because this is incorrect. So we're going to have to fix it. Don't read the codes. It's incorrect. Ah. Well, we're going to have to fix it. So get ready for a big scroll to come across your screen. Sometimes it does this. This is what I have to do before streams, but instead I've just decided to slowly do it over the course of this stream instead. Because we had to start up very quickly. Perfect. Streamlabs and its bugs, man. Threat level's correct. Date is correct as well. Perfect. Let's go with a special weather statement. Let's see. Probably has some pretty cool structure. Probably has some pretty cool structure. Very frequent lightning, heavy rain, very small hail, and 50-mile-an-hour winds will all be possible. Is there any time cool pools actually helped with the environment? Ooh, yes, yes. Cool pools can sometimes enhance damaging winds. Yes. There is actually, that has happened before. It happened earlier this year. But you have to have a very specific setup for it. You have to have a very specific setup. It's not like not every cool pool is going to enhance it. Like pretty much 9 out of 10 times a cool pool is going to completely destroy whatever's behind it or in it. But sometimes you can get that one setup that enhances damaging winds, but typically that doesn't cause any, the hail threat's typically low, the tornado threat's typically low, and then the damaging winds you could have just, it can sometimes enhance downburst, I believe. I haven't put a bunch of research into it, but from what I've tracked, yeah, it's not impossible. Like I said, we've already seen it at least once this year. Outflow boundaries, not necessarily. Outflow boundaries can substantially enhance all hazards. Outflow boundaries have caused violent tornadoes. They've caused rapid intensifications of thunderstorms. They could be igniters on dry lines. They could be boundaries for where supercells fire later on in the day. And then the main destructive outflow boundary is the type that is released from crapvection or an MCS or a derecho, and that outflow boundary, whatever's behind it, it causes it to go elevated. That was the case the other day with severe storms. Outflow boundary swept through much of the risk area. I forgot what risk area that was, though. And it destroyed a bunch of thunderstorms, caused all the storms to go elevated. But a lot of the times, outflow boundaries substantially help severe weather. But we have seen outflow boundaries occasionally demolish the tornado potential. Let's see. I have my weather bias set up to where dark blue is special weather statement, red is tornado warning, orange is severe thunderstorm warning, and pink for flash flood. That's that's normal. I don't have pink for flash flood. I do green just to associate it kind of like with rain, but seems good to me. That's something I would use too. I just don't do pink for flash floods because sometimes people associate pink with tornado warnings too. Biggest bust of the 2020s so far has to be the 45 sig bust. I mean, we did have that substantial 15 sig bust literally earlier this year, April 28th this year. I'm pretty sure we looked at it the other day. I've already forgotten it. Look at that. But I don't know. I think that 45 sig tour, we just had a couple spin ups, and I don't know if we had a strong tornado. I don't think we did. I would say that was probably the biggest bust. I'm trying to think of another instance, but that's really, like, that's the number one thing that I think of. Well, 2019 wasn't the 20th, the 20th century. Or the 2020s, I should say. It was the 20th century. Actually, no, it's not, because we're in the 20... Aren't we in the 21st century? I don't know. How do we count it? Yeah, we're in the 21st century. Yeah, we're in the 21st century. But 2019 wasn't in the 2020s. It wasn't in the 20s decade. That's what I meant to say. It wasn't in the 20s decade. The century thing always confuses me because when I look at it and I see 2000 and then it's, 2025 or 2014, I immediately think that's the 20th century. But nope. Confusing. Did it have a 45 hatched? I don't remember May 20th having a 45 hatched. I don't feel like it did. The only 45 hatched I remember, at least semi-recently, was from 2021. That's like one of the first risks I tracked anyways, so. May 20th, 2019. Day 1. Wow. It had a big 45 sig. Wow. So that was like the bust of the century. Did we barely had 2 weak tornadoes in the 45 sig. They were on the edge of the 45 sig. That's literally like the bust of the century, dude. I forgot it had a 45 sig. I was for sure it was a 30 sig. Dude, that's insane. Like, you only had 2 tornadoes in a 45 sig tour, and both of those were barely even in it. And then the rest were, much of them were on the end of the 30% and the bottom of the 30%. That was literally like the bust of the century. That is insane. Let me see. 2019. go see all the ratings of it. All right, May 20th, 2019, 16 EFU, 10 EF0, 9 EF1, 3 EF2s, 1 EF3, and no violent. So we had 3 strong tornadoes on a 45 hatched. That is insane. That's literally the bust of the century right there. And it was a big 45 hatched. Now, what was the 2021 event? March 17th, maybe? Was that the 45 hatched? Yep. March 17th. Let's go for that one and see the tornadoes on there. March 17th, 2021. Rating. Oh man, this is going to be a little bit more difficult to find. It's not as organized. Okay. I think this is for... no, 4 strong tornadoes, but I think that is for a 3-day stretch. I only want the March 17th risk. It ain't gonna give it to me, y'all. March 17th, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 strong tornadoes. 4 EF2s, 0 EF3, 0 EF4, 0 EF5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 EF1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 EF0. So a lot of weak tornadoes. A lot of weak tornadoes that just got spammed out of a few supercells on the edge of the high risk. And we had 2 EF2s in southeast, kind of east central Mississippi, and then 2 other EF2s in central Alabama. We did have a few tornadoes in that 45 sig tour, unlike the only 2 in the May 19th, 2019 45 sig. Although, yeah, but we had 2 EF2s in the 45 sig. All right, let's go back up here into southern Wisconsin, see what's happening here. Most tornadoes are very weak, yes. It's like around or just less than 1% of tornadoes each year are actually violent. Pretty sure it's less than 1%. Here, I can also tell you this too. And about 15, around or just less than 15% of tornadoes are EF2 plus. That's based off of, I think, 1996 to 2020. So if you include the last 5 years, I'm sure it's actually a little bit more than 15%. Because we've been having a lot stronger tornadoes, especially this year. Especially this year. This year has been one of the most violent. Actually, it has been the most violent year for tornadoes since 2020. So, this has been the most intense year in terms of tornado ratings since 2020, which I didn't track 2020. I tracked mainly 2021's plus tornado season. 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and this year I've been tracking 4 or 5 tornado seasons. I didn't track 2020. Also, I did track the hurricanes though. And just recently, this is a little off topic, but we had our strongest, like the strongest tornado in Utah just the other day since 2000. It was the EF2 tornado that occurred in a fire. In a fire. And it was in Utah. Winds of, I believe, about little over 120 miles per hour. Happened midday on July 12th. An EF2 fire tornado, which it's the first strong fire tornado since 2000. It is one of the first tornadoes in this area since 2020. So very, very rare tornado. I mean, a strong fire tornado is very rare. I think our strongest fire tornado actually in the world, it was actually in Australia in 2003, and it was near violent. We had a near violent tornado. That was a fire tornado in 2003 in Australia. Much of the fire tornadoes we see, though, are very weak. Here in the U.S., I think our last strong tornado in the U.S. associated with a fire tornado was in 2018. Now that's been broken, though, because we just had one 4 days ago in Utah. Very messy storm mode. Not a lot of lower level wind shear. They're leaving the best wind shear, so we're still going to have the chance for a brief tornado or two, but I think the event's really done. Honestly, it did not perform the way I was kind of thinking. We had one strong tornado and then a spin up from the same storm, but honestly, not how I was thinking. Storms fired too early, so wind shear didn't ever have a chance to increase. If storms fired, about 334 when we were anticipating, the wind shear would have been a little bit better. But they fired early, and now they're out of the best wind shear. These storms are removed from the best wind shear now. Ohio has a chance for some severe storms late next week with a favorable severe weather pattern. Today, there is a chance for an isolated severe storm or two somewhere. Let me see. Somewhere in Ohio, let me just show you the risk area. So the whole state of Ohio is under a level 1 out of 5 for today. So there's a risk for a severe storm of up to 60 mile an hour winds. And that's really it. But the chance that you're hit by that is very low. So I think we'll see a severe storm or two somewhere in the state of Ohio later today. But it's not going to be anything crazy. And it's very scattered throughout the entire day today. So much of the storms are just going to be this. Heavy rainmakers, a lot of lightning, and the occasional gust of wind. New tornado warning just got issued. Not surprised by that. Pretty good area of rotation there. I don't think I pointed that out. I meant to point out that it looked like it was about to spin up again because you could see the green velocities starting to push like this, and the red velocities were starting to push over like this. Pretty clear signature of an area of rotation trying to develop, which is why that tornado warning was so fast. Not surprised. I think this definitely could try to drop a tornado here shortly. This is going to be going towards Cambridge, so if you're at Cambridge, southern Wisconsin, make sure you're in your safe spot. This potential tornado is going to be very close to you. Give me just a moment. Okay. Yeah, so again, just be in your safe spot. We have a tornado warning now, so tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So if you're in Deerfield, Cambridge, Rockdale, London, which is just to the northwest of Fort Atkinson in southeastern Wisconsin, make sure you are in your safe spot. Once again, a tornado warning means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So you need to be in your safe spot and treat it very seriously. If you don't know where your safe spot is, The best safe spot is a basement or a storm shelter. If you don't have either one of those, it is the most interior room away from doors and windows on the lowest floor of your home. And preferably bring a mattress or a helmet wherever you are to help protect your head from any potential flying debris, just in case this is on the ground. Right now, there is no signature, so I don't believe it is on the ground. But again, a tornado could develop at any given second or may already be on the ground. So just be in your safe spot if you are in that tornado warning. All the storms behind our active tornado warning, they've all stayed fairly weak. They're trailing right behind our main line, so it seems like they're just... There's not a lot of wind shear out here. Is there a lot of bulk shear, perhaps? The MCV typically allows for good supercell development. That's why I thought today was going to be a pretty good day for tornadoes. We've had one so far, but we don't have a lot of bulk shear, so it's not really helping to promote supercells at the moment. I'll be curious to see if any extra storms do fire, though. It's 3 o'clock? Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know about that happening. The NAM3K is wanting storms to really explode right now. 3 to 4 o'clock Eastern. The HRRR says this is going to be done by 4 o'clock, which I agree with that. So, yeah, this area of rotation, it's staying pretty broad. There's not a lot of lower level wind shear here, so there's not a lot of available spin. So this storm, we just got a new MCD for this area, by the way. Looks like this is actually for Illinois, so we'll go over that in just a second. But there's not a lot of available spin, so even if these storms are very mature, they have left the best environment for tornadoes. Really, the best environment is right here. Show you real quick. Go to reflectivity. This is the best environment, right in this area. These storms have moved ahead of the best environment, so they're just not discrete enough. If these were discrete, we'd be seeing a lot more areas of rotation, but right now, any little areas that are trying to spin up just simply aren't. And that's because this whole line, this was not supposed to be here, by the way. This entire line, holy crap, this thing's huge. Goes all the way down to almost Missouri. That entire line was not forecasted. It does go into Missouri. This entire portion of our line was not supposed to be here. Our main event was supposed to be with this area right in here. But because this line has survived, it's likely causing at least a bit of an issue with cool pooling, and it's ahead of the best wind shear, so. Yeah, new mesoscale discussion. Let me go ahead and show you that. Right there. So this red MCD, which stretches from just northwest of Chicago, all the way down into Whitehall, southwest Illinois, rather west central Illinois. The chance for a couple of strong to severe thunderstorms will continue for several more hours until at least 5:15 Eastern time. So that's a minimum of 2 hours for these storms to continue. The main threat will be 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gust, although small hail near an inch in diameter and a brief tornado can't be ruled out. So main threat by far is 60 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 70, so some small hail of around an inch in diameter. And then we can't fully rule out a spin up tornado or two, but that tornado threat is definitely the lowest of our concern. If you do live anywhere from northern Illinois through west central Illinois, tornado threat is the least of the concern. Still pretty broad area of weak rotation here. We'll just continue to monitor that to see if it spins up at all. and then just little tiny couplets that really aren't doing anything. You know, weak areas of some red and green that aren't even considered rotation. Not worried about any of that stuff yet. Hopefully it stays that way, where everything just stays very weak and very broad, and we'll be good to go. SPC updates here in 45 minutes. We're going to stay live till then. And probably even a little bit later than that. Just to make sure you guys have the latest information. Because, like I said, even though this was originally an urgent stream, you know, there's still going to be the chance for a couple more tornadoes here over about the next hour or so. Give me just a second. Can I check on Invest 93L? I mean, sure, but it's not really much. It's not really much. So, like I said earlier, I think, in my opinion, personal opinion, this was a depression as it made landfall over Florida and then moved a little inland in Florida. And then very late last night into this morning, it lost much of its tropical characteristics as it went well inland, and possibly the area of weak low pressure moved into southeastern Alabama towards this afternoon. Now that weak low has since completely flopped and is not really developed at all, but there is a chance for a new area of circulation to develop somewhere here in the Gulf. Right now, I believe the NHC, they have the invest being like right here. That's where they have the invest being, generally in that area. Actually, I know how to show you exactly where it is. Yeah, they have it being just off the coast of Panama City. They have it being like right here is where they have the invest being. So we'll just need to keep an eye on to see if any new areas of spin try to develop. And I think it will be possible very, very late tonight into tomorrow morning. I think it will be possible that we get a very brief-lived tropical depression. But regardless of if it does become a tropical depression or not, the main threat is going to be flash flooding tomorrow and also into Friday. Depending on how much this strengthens, I would definitely watch out for some notable flash flooding along the coastal areas of Louisiana tomorrow morning and afternoon. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a tropical storm. I think it briefly hit tropical depression status, in my opinion, as it made landfall, went overland, and then lost it very quickly as it moved closer to Lake City and Perry in Florida. And now it's really just 3 blobs of convection, no organized circulation. So I don't see. I think there's still a chance, but in my opinion, a lot lower chance of it being a tropical depression in the future. I think it already hit its peak intensity, which was a very weak tropical depression. So there's your area of rotation still. Just barely north of Cambridge. Green is winds going towards the radar. Red is winds going away from a radar. Radar is currently located in, well, it is going to stay there for a lot longer. It's located just east of Slabtown. The only radar that I remember being moved recently was the one in New Orleans. I don't think we're going to see radars move around much more over the next few years. Until hopefully we start replacing them with higher definition, better radars. Maybe towards the end of our decade. That would be nice. But yeah, really not much rotation there near Deerfield to Cambridge right now. And thankfully, our main ingredients really aren't helping these storms form too much. So we'll keep watching them just in case, but I don't really see these intensifying much further, so we're going to continue to monitor them. We just got a new meso analysis, and it still shows the best environment is staying behind this main line. This main line right here, the main environment is staying behind it, closer to this area. Also, good news is our temperatures are getting into the very high 80s. So back there towards Chicago, likely going to see mainly just damaging winds and no tornado threat, because those storms are going to be very, very elevated, meaning that the cloud tops are going to be a lot further from the surface. So surface-based storms are exactly what it sounds like. It's storms that are more surface-based, closer to the surface. Elevated storms are higher up. They're higher up into the atmosphere. So higher cloud tops with elevated storms, lower cloud tops with surface-based storms in terms of where those storms start to form. And right now, everything up here is really surface-based. None of this is really elevated. The only elevated storms really start to begin down in here. And that's why we have a severe watch and not a tornado watch out for Chicago. Also, another reason is the lack of wind shear around Chicago. So, if we continue to see these elevated thunderstorms, it's not going to be much of a tornado threat, if any at all, around Chicago and Illinois. And then these storms still, because they're surface-based, that's going to allow for the chance of a brief spin-up tornado or two over the next few hours up here. But our main event is over. We're done with our main event. We still could get another weak spin-up tornado or two all the way till these storms hit Lake Michigan. And, you know, that first line, so we have two main lines. This is your first line. This is your second line. That first line is going to hit, let's see, it's going to hit Lake Michigan probably close to 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern here in about an hour and a half. And that will be your first line completely done. And then your second line won't get there till about 6, maybe 6:30 Eastern. So we still have a good 3.5 hours before our threat is fully done. The hail threat is a little bit higher in Illinois compared to Wisconsin, but it's not like crazy high. We could see 1-inch hailstones with those severe storms west of Chicago right now. But most likely it's just going to stay as an occasional gust of 60 miles an hour. Just continued that severe for about 0.75-inch hail, 60 mile an hour winds. That is to the west of Plainfield in Illinois. Might be a little bit of an outflow boundary right there. Sure is. That outflow boundary is helping to keep this hook echo alive at the moment. We'll keep an eye on this little area here. Sometimes we could get very tight, small areas of circulation that drop quick tornadoes. When you have a little hook echo like this mixed with an outflow boundary, they can spin up very, very quickly. But I don't think we have the wind shear for that to happen today. I think our wind shear is too low for us to see a good area spin up like that. My face cam keeps bugging. Did you see that? Hold on. I'm gonna try to push it in a little bit. The wire on it is gotten loose for some reason. If it's my face cam, that's okay. As long as it's not like my computer. Right? Face cam, $20, $30. Computer, $2,000. Big difference in pricing right there. So I don't mind if I have to replace a camera. But I just saw it. The whole thing flashed white. I was like, hello? What's up with the flashing camera? Columbus cell. I knew exactly what you were talking about because I saw that little indent too. There may be a little mezzo there, but it's very weak. I don't think it's imminently tornadic, but it could try to rotate in the future. If not, it might be this very small area of rotation at the moment. But yeah, even the storm near Lake Mills, Lake Mills, it's not increased with rotation. I still want to keep an eye on it because that outflow boundary, like I said, sometimes they can get a little area of spin going right there on the edge of that outflow boundary. And could cause a quick spin up tornado. Now that's moved up to the northeast a bit closer to up here. Wait for that new velocity scan, but it looks like that hook's already starting to push up into the base of the storm. Waiting to see velocity scan here in 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, it's not tightening up anymore, so hopefully that just continues to stay weak. Looking pretty good here at the moment. Looking pretty good. We're just continuing with the isolated severe and the very weak area of rotation. A big old severe storm just got issued out here. That is definitely why. Right there, we've got a probably some sort of downburst here. Could be a microburst. Just to the west of Hartsburg, producing likely 60, possibly even gust a little higher than 60 miles per hour there, just northwest of the Lincoln radar. The reason why I say possibly a little higher than 60 is because we're right next to our radar. Our radar site is right there, so this is scanning towards very low in the atmosphere, very, very close to near surface. It's probably, actually, we could check. No more than, about 500 feet. So it's scanning about 400 to 500 feet up. And most likely that gust radar's picking up is 65 to 70. We'll probably see 60 to 65 closer to the surface there. So definitely a good call to issue that severe. Also back here towards Petersburg, could get some gusts of 40 to 50. See those velocities increasing a bit up there. So definitely going to want to watch out for that. Let's see here. Yeah, these little areas right in here. Right up in here. And then possibly in the future, we could see more areas of downburst try to form near Middletown, too. You can actually pick it out on radar. One here, 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 and here. That northern one and the southern one are the most intense right now. Especially that northern one. This one could have gusts of 60 to 65. And that is your severe thunderstorm warning there for 60-mile-an-hour winds, about 0.75-inch hail. So if you're anywhere in that severe, it goes from about Petersburg through Athens, Williamsville, towards Buffalo Hart. Extends all the way back up into Chestnut, all the way up into Hayworth, Randolph Downs, all the way back west towards Hartsburg, New Holland. Make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows as that line pushes through. My camera glitched again. I have to check the USB. Make sure it's connected well. How big that line of storms is. Yeah. It's very large. It is a very large line of storms, but thankfully only 2 portions of it is severe. It's probably about a 250-mile long line there. I need to move my mic a little bit. It's in the way of my chat. So I couldn't read Misty's message too well. Camera, come on. All right, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to deactivate it. I'm going to reactivate. I'm going to clear the cache on it. Change it. And do this. Perfect. Not perfect. It just bugged even worse. I better stop messing with it before I screw it up. I'm screwing it up, y'all. I'll have to plug it in, plug it out, plug back in. Unplug it, plug back in. Wait, okay. I'm gonna quit messing with it. If I keep messing with it, it's gonna break. I remember one time on stream it broke completely, and it was literally just like rainbow colors over the camera. If it's like just once every minute, that's okay. I'll fix it after I end stream, if I remember to. I probably won't remember. So tomorrow, just to quickly go over tomorrow's risk, because they did release their outlook for it already. They haven't introduced a slight risk, but they indeed did expand that marginal. So originally the marginal was from about New York, Maine, all the way until about Southeast Ohio, and then it stopped. And they did expand that all the way into much of Virginia, and then actually all the way back out into Oklahoma and Kansas. So a lot larger than I was thinking. But originally, like the marginal risk for tomorrow that we looked at yesterday was like this large. And I talked about them expanding that further to the west, southwest into Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia. And that's what they did. They expanded it even further than that. So just some isolated gusts of 50 to 60. Maybe some small hail of near an inch in diameter. And that will probably be mainly focused up here in Montana, North Dakota for that hail threat. I wouldn't rule out a spin-up tornado. Wow, they have a tornado risk in New York and Vermont. I wouldn't rule out a spin-up tornado up there, but in my opinion, it really doesn't look like anything too crazy. I'm shocked they have a 2% up there. I didn't even know that till now. I had no idea they introduced a 2%. I was about to point that out. Because there's this leftover MCV is going to be in Ontario tomorrow, and that could cause a little bit of some wind shear across the northeastern U.S. So I think we have the chance for a spin-up tornado or two back up in this area for tomorrow. The best chance for that will definitely be focused wherever the MCV goes, which will probably be in Ontario and Quebec. All right, no more tornado warning. So we're back down to all severes. Also, these downbursts here, too, could be easily getting to 60 miles an hour. Radar is reading 60 to 70 miles an hour. But we're further. We are 2,000 feet up, so we're not as close. The other radar we're only like 500 feet away from. This one is 2.2 thousand feet up into the atmosphere. A lot higher up, so probably closer to 60 mile an hour winds as opposed to the 70 that the velocity is picking up on. But you can see that Boeing structure. You can see an outflow boundary / gust front in front, so definitely very much capable of 60 mile an hour winds about to go into Newark in northeastern Illinois. Downburst weakened substantially there for Hartsburg. Still could see some 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts anywhere along these areas of enhanced velocities. And that is in Illinois as well. To Wisconsin now. Definitely no rotation now anymore over Lake Mills. Still could increase, though. It still has that little leftover hook echo and outflow boundary there. And it does have a sharp cutoff, so it looks like a supercell. It's just a mess to its north, mess to its west. Rain, that's it, to its south, so let me go back over here again just to see if that hook is... Okay, that hook is dying. Okay, gotcha. It is dying out. I wanted to see if it was recycling, but right now it's completely dying out. SPC Outlook just came out. See if they kept the 5%. Probably kept it, just because we could still see a brief tornado today in this area. Typically, you know, they're not going to completely remove the 5% with updates like this in the middle of the day. All right, they completely removed the hail threat, so we're not at a 5% hail risk anymore. 15% wind continues, and yep, very weird looking 5%. Very weird looking 5% tornado risk continues out in Wisconsin and Illinois. Very sharp 5% access right there. But they are continuing it. And then back out in Colorado, Wyoming, you saw just a sliver of that 2% for a second. Not really anticipating much. We could see a brief land spout, but it's not nearly, it's not concerning. It's really not concerning. You know, it's a spin up tornado at most. New MCD out here, threat for tornadoes, damaging downbursts of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and up to 1-inch hail will continue for at least the next several hours. 2 lines of thunderstorms are progressing across portions of southern Wisconsin this afternoon. The easternmost line is associated with earlier warm air advection initiation, with storms a little ahead of the MCV. Robust lower level instability, 0 to 3 kilometer mixed layer instability over 100 joules per kilogram, strong surface vorticity. These conditions lead to the development of several tornadic supercells within the last hour over this leading first line. Trends will likely continue to be this trend will likely continue within both of these lines of convection for at least the next couple of hours. As such, the tornado threat, damaging wind gust threat, and isolated hail threat will all continue and are all possible. So 1-inch hail, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, and a few spin-up tornadoes will continue to be an issue until at least 5 o'clock Eastern. So at least the next hour and a half. And I agree with that. I think we could see a spin-up tornado or two, but I don't see anything like crazy happening anymore off of this either one of these lines of convection here. We'll just have to watch for the embedded supercell. One might be starting up here near Fall River. Just gonna keep an eye on those, just those little areas of signatures, because that's how it started earlier today. It was 11:30 a.m. I looked on my radar and I saw signatures like this. I'm like, hello, these aren't supposed to be happening till 3 o'clock. Till 3 to 4 o'clock. So they fired very, very early. So I would be just watching these little signatures here. There's really only one. Only that one. Like, this stuff, none of this. None of these areas here. None of these areas are really anything concerning. Well, you never know. I'll keep an eye on that one towards Westfield, too. So keep an eye on the one in Westfield, Illinois, and the one out here near Fall River. Wisconsin. My bad. Both of these are in Wisconsin. Fall River, Wisconsin, and Brooks/Westfield, Wisconsin. Tornado threat is not present at the moment there in Illinois. See if that strengthened at all. No, just staying as a broad couplet. We'll wait for that new velocity scan. We're only down to now just 2 severe storms, so everything's really falling apart at the moment, but we'll stay live for a bit longer. That new outlook was early, so I'll probably end a little bit earlier than what I was talking about before. Alright, new scan should be in here. Let's see what it has. Yep, still staying broad. And same with this one. Both of them are broad. Broad rotation. The good news is the MCV is way further west, so these storms are detached from the best 3 cape and vorticity, and those are the more discrete ones. So just to go over it, so these are a bit more discrete, right? You see how you can make out like a couple of semi-discrete to discrete storms. The main MCV is, well, let's loop it so I know where. The main MCV is back here. You're not going to be able to see the other arrow, but here, there's the end of it. Your main MCV just barely off the screen to your left there. And that's where your best area for ingredients will be, just in front of that MCV. So your best ingredients are with these storms. And notice how these storms are really all kind of congealed into a slop, right? Like there's this big mess here and then a big mess back up in here. There's some bit more semi-discrete storms further south, but for the moment, this is mainly just a mess of clustered storms. And then these are, like I just said a second ago, semi-discrete. So semi-discrete to discrete storms that's a lot more favorable mode for tornadoes than clustered storms. So if we had that favorable MCV overlapped with the semi-discrete storms, which we had about 2 hours ago, we'd be continuing with that good tornado threat, potentially even a strong tornado threat. But because the MCV is a bit further west and we're seeing those storms close to the MCV congeal into a clustery mess, now we're trending towards more of the isolated weak tornado. And really, that's about it for our threat. I mean, we haven't had a single severe in Wisconsin yet today. So really just staying at the threat for a spin-up tornado. That's about it. And then back out in Illinois, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds and the occasional hailstone of up to an inch in diameter. Still looking at 60 mile an hour winds likely occurring here over Newark in northeastern Illinois. And then still could be seeing some downbursts of 60 miles an hour with those blue velocities here in between Middleton and Hartsburg back towards Lincoln in Illinois. Very close to the Lincoln radar site. Going to head right. Actually, it's moving southeast, so it's going to head directly for the Lincoln radar site. We did get a new MCD for Colorado for the potential of severe thunderstorm watch. Severe thunderstorm watch will likely be issued for the potential of 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, 2 to 2.5 inch hail, and the potential for a spin up tornado. So damaging winds and hail will be the primary main threat. Spin up tornado can't be ruled out, and it will be mainly from southeastern Wyoming all the way into extreme southeastern Colorado. I'll show you that MCD now because it should be in. Go all the way over here. So that, not this red MCD, the second one. So this one that goes from southeast Wyoming to extreme southeast Colorado. Once again, 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, 2 to 2.5 inch hail, and a brief tornado will be possible. Severe watch will be issued here probably after we end stream. That severe watch is going to be issued. It will be issued around or just before 5 o'clock Eastern. I won't be live till 5. I won't be live for the next hour 15. Unless we start to see an increase in our tornado activity here in Wisconsin. We do have our first severe in Wisconsin. First severe here in Wisconsin. It is a tornado possible tag, 60 mile an hour winds and 0.75 inch hail for the next hour or so, just to the northwest of Harrisville. So watching these little areas of rotation in this severe. So if you're in Westfield along the I-39 corridor here in central Wisconsin, also includes Lawrence there, or Lawrence rather, Lawrence. Make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, and preferably be a bit close to your safe spot just in case we end up getting a warning out here. But right now that is a severe warning. No tornado warning yet, but there is 2 areas of rotation we're watching for the potential of a tornado in the future. So we're up to 4 severes now. All of them are normal severes. This one is a little bit special because it has that Tor possible tag on it. That newest frame velocity's really increased there. We'll need to see if that continues for one extra frame or not. Because that's, that's not, it's not the worst area of rotation. Should get a new velocity scan here in about a minute, maybe as early as 5 seconds. But probably closer to a minute. Yep. Next one comes in here in 24 seconds. We'll see if that updates it or not. So we're going to wait for this next scan here, see what it shows. Just quickly look further south. Yeah, still all this stuff's weak, so we'll just wait and see. But we did just get 3 new MCDs, the new SPC Outlook, so we got a lot of new information that I just shared with you guys. So the main area to keep an eye on for severe weather, though, is definitely going to be out here across this portion of the U.S. from central Wisconsin back into central Illinois for the next, like 2 hours or so. That's going to be your peak activity, peak chance for a tornado, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 1-inch hail. And the main tornado threat will be focused in this corridor right in here along the northern side of that. So, new velocity scan is in, and it's not strengthening, so that's good news. Just wanted to double check with that. All right, I want to go through your flood outlooks real quick. So for today, we have a slight risk for flash flooding in southeastern Louisiana as 93L attempts to reorganize. Potential for some isolated flash flooding will be possible, but shouldn't be anything too crazy. Just the isolated flash flood will be a possibility. Then tomorrow, a little bit different. We could have a couple instances of flash flooding that 2 out of 5, or rather 2 out of 4 slight risk gets a little bit larger. So we're going to continue to watch that just in case it increases in intensity at all. But right now that is at a level 2 out of 4. So shouldn't see crazy flash flooding for tomorrow morning, but it will be the chance for a couple instances of flash flooding. And then Friday, that's your issue. That's where we should have the chance for a lot more widespread. That level 2 out of 4 gets substantially larger, a lot larger of a level 2 out of 4 there, and then even a level 3 out of 4 red gets introduced there for the potential of catastrophic flash flooding. Could see some instances of upwards of about 8-9 inches of rainfall from tomorrow morning all the way until Friday night. So just going to keep an eye on that. The highest risk for that is probably in the moderate risk area that you see outlined here, and also a little bit southeast. Really, this entire area here over the next 36-ish hours or so is at risk for up to 8-9 inches of rainfall, potential for catastrophic flash flooding as well. It just depends on how much this invest can reorganize. The time being, I think tomorrow night is going to be the worst of the flash flooding. We could see very intense flash flood rates, potentially flash flood rates as much as 2 inches per hour of rainfall. So tomorrow night, in my opinion, looks even worse than Friday right now in terms of flooding. I would definitely be watching tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. So there's your update on the flooding risk, and then we already went over the categorical risk. However, do want to add this, we just got an update to the day 3 outlook, so that is Friday. Day 3 is already a Friday risk, so another Friday risk here. That's crazy how it's already Wednesday. This week is it's flown by already. The weekend was here and gone so fast. It's the middle of the week already. But yeah, Friday, we got a marginal out there in Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, southwestern Minnesota. Probably mainly just going to see some isolated 60 mile an hour wind gust, maybe the isolated 1-inch hailstone. I would keep an eye on it. I would keep an eye on it because there is a chance a better severe weather event does unfold on Friday. Very high end environment according to the NAM 3K, but it is the NAM, so take that with a grain of salt. But I would definitely be watching this area here. I think we could see a slight risk introduced, and might have the chance for a few tornadoes if that does continue to trend the way it's trending. Yeah, I think we will have the chance for a tornado or two generally in this area going into Friday. So I would keep an eye on that. It looks like that that's actively uptrending, but yeah, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Watch trends over the next few days. But with that being said, I'm probably going to go ahead and conclude here. Since everything is mainly just low-end severe storms. Going to keep an eye on that possible one, though, back up in central Wisconsin. Tomorrow, possibly a video. I'll see. Tomorrow doesn't look like a day we'll need to be live. We could see a slight risk introduced, but if we do, it will probably just be for wind, and there's a tornado warning. That is radar indicated. Man, I was just about to wrap up too. That's right on the MCV. Right where the MCV is. So your MCV right back here. So that's right next to your main area of spin. I'll keep an eye on it. If that really gets stronger, I'll come right back on here. But I need to go finish a few things that I was supposed to do 2.5 hours ago. I was actively finishing them, and then we got that PDS warning that I was a little bit late for. So I'm still going to conclude, but just be in your safe spot if you're in Portage there in central Wisconsin. At least I got to say that was tornado warned, and it didn't happen after I ended. So just be in your safe spot there. A lot more severe weather to come, especially going into the latter half of next week. Looks like a pretty good setup for MCSs going towards the middle. The middle and end of next week. Yeah. Just had to double check on those dates. But anyways, I appreciate all the mods for on chat. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'll try my best to keep an eye on the weather using my phone radar app, but no promises I'll end up seeing whatever does happen. So if I'm available and if I see it, I will try to go back live if anything does occur, if we end up seeing another PDS tornado warning or not. I've already missed my ending time. Dang it. Stay safe. Watch for your weather. Possible video tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Once again, stay safe and definitely stay weather aware if you're in the tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch for the rest of the day. Still a good 2 hours, 10 minutes left for the opportunity of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a brief tornado or two. So again, appreciate the mods from mod chat. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll catch you guys in potentially tomorrow's video. Not guaranteed, but potentially a video tomorrow. All right, that's it. Stay safe. See you in the next one. Bye. Stay safe, watch the severe weather. I can't even English anymore, and I'll see you guys possibly